Hey y'all, Grown Black Folks Talk, our annual conversation. Winter is here again, and here in the sunlight. Well, I live in a mild climate. I ate a blackberry a minute ago. There's at least another good handful to be picked. There's lily pillies to the right of me, and figs, and other things up the hill, lemons, and all kinds of good stuff. So I'll be good till at least February. Winter doesn't really set in here till mid-January, February, but there's nothing out here. But, so from July through December, what winter? But I'm not talking about a mild climate. Some things have happened since we last had this conversation. The gentleman who gave us Winter is Coming, what I found out since Kevin Samuels made that a household thing, was that comes from a European dictator fantasy known as Game of Thrones. And that says everything that needs to be said about the men who keep talking about this. Wanting to be in a European dictator fantasy when they get to be the dictator over all the women and children that they want access to. Yeah, I said children. Because you got Manosphere creators this year. We have seen them up here hosting pedophiles. And big upping them. Talking about what they're doing with girls 14, 15, and 16 years old. Not knowing the FBI watches everything you do online. But I'm like, that is the dumbest thing for several reasons. Number one, winter is optional. In Australia, it's the first day of summer. And anywhere south of the equator, it's the first day of summer. Anywhere around the equator, the concept doesn't exist. Yes, Hawaii technically has winter, and Cuernavaca does too. But Cuernavaca is called the land of eternal spring for a reason. Get close enough to the equator and these concepts do not exist. So, get your passport. If you don't like winter, get you a spot. I will put in the description for y'all 50 cities in which you're going to get something like $50 a night. $50 $500? 50 cities for $500 a month for Airbnbs. I have to put it in there. And that's put out by YouTube creator Stephanie Perry. And most of these places are equator type spots. So if you don't like winter, a passport plus a few $100 plus $500. So about $1,200 you can get a month and make winter optional. I'm going to put that in there for y'all. I'm also going to put that up in travel vacation spots for those of you that know that particular server. So that's one thing. People talk about winter being inexorable. It is not. Half the world is never experiencing it at any one time. When you get tired of going through winter in Cape Town, then you come back to your spot in the Northern Hemisphere. Winter is optional. You just have to pick what month you're going to leave. Okay, that's number one. Where winter exists, does anybody know what winter is for? Winter is for rest. Look here. We're going to actually look around here. I'm standing between 3 ornamental cherry trees. And if you look at these ornamental cherry trees, we're going to turn around and see they're missing their leaves. Now, in the autumn, which just ended yesterday, this is why you have all these beautiful turnings of colors. Because what happens is, in the autumn, the trees stop sending chlorophyll up to the leaves and they change color and die. Well, why does this happen? Because everything needs a rest and everything needs a cleansing. And winter is designed for rest and cleansing. It's cold and it's a good time for trees to not have leaves in places where it snows, because that would break the branches. But this makes room for the new growth that is to come. Last year in San Francisco, there was no winter. Guess what my apple tree did not do this year at all? It did not even bloom. Because without that winter rest and the rain that comes with winter, you have no fruit. You have no flowering in spring. You have no fruit in the summer. Winter is not here to conform to silly men's European dictator fantasies. Winter has a purpose. And although we don't think about this in our highly man-made, man-organized world, winter and summer both have certain purgative properties in different climates. The fires of summer, the heat of summer, does a secondary cleaning and purging process. Things that are not going to make it to harvest. Things that need to be cleared out so that new growth can come the following year. Seeds that need to germinate. Summer and its fires. That's the purpose of all that. There's a purpose to everything that happens in creation. Because the Creator, unlike ourselves, is not crazy. He's not in rebellion against his own system. But winter does the heavy work. Winter does the heavy work. So if you understand that, then what you do is get prepared. Winter is not here. It will not conform because men feel like they can't get what they want out of life and they want to have their own way and they want to scare women who don't know any better. Yeah, you know better. Winter is here, and the man who made that household word for silly men is dead. His bones will be feeding the earth when the formaldehyde leaches out. So when finally that whole toxic process is broken down, he will feed the new growth of the spring. May 5th, 2023 will mark a whole year. Like I said, winter is not going to conform to your foolishness. Winter is here. There's no reason to be afraid of it. There's no reason to be afraid of the ups and downs. People are like, it was crypto winter. Oh my gosh, the world's going to come to an end. No, everything is cyclical. Winter is part of a great natural cycle in hemispheres that have those, in parts of the northern and southern hemisphere that have those cycles. It's not the only cycle. It's optional. You don't have to experience it if you don't want to. You can set your life up next year to not experience winter. You got till December next year to figure it out. Even where it's present, it has a purpose. It's to get things ready and watered and nourished and cleaned up so that there can be fruit and there can be flowers and fruit and food in the following year. The land needs a rest. Now, most people want to take their off time in the summer, and I get it because the days are long and beautiful. This is my off season. I take the winter off in concert with where I live in the northern hemisphere. I don't take on big winter projects. I don't take on big projects until April, until springtime, because I want to work in accord. I don't have to be afraid of it. Now, should you have a healthy respect if you were in a climate where winter is very real? Sure. There's a lot of people in the country I was talking to. A cousin of mine, she's talking about, yeah, it's going to do that freeze, it looks like, that we had last year. Should you respect it? So she's like, I'm getting food and I'm not going anywhere for Christmas, and everybody who wants to eat off of me is going to have to wait. I said, look, the way you cook, your food's going to be just as good on the 26th and the 27th as it is today. You wait till the temperature gets to something reasonable. You're risking your life over foolishness with people. They need to stay inside too if it's going to be 18 degrees. There's no reason to be afraid. There's no reason to be terrorized by silly people. Winter is here. If you don't overspend in the holidays, you don't have to try to overwork in the winter. And I know this message is coming a little bit late, but I've been talking to you about putting out a product that you can now spend in the autumn so that you have money to spend coming into the winter. You don't have to overwork. I've been talking about that for a little while. So you don't have to go through all this foolishness. You can set your life up to work with what you want to work with, or just don't. $150 and a clean record makes a passport really easy to get. And if you do your stats, it should be easier for black women to get passports pound for pound than black men, taken as a group. I'm not talking about individually, but only one of those two groups has 1/3 convicted felons. That alone makes a difference. So people talking about, we going somewhere else. Great, get your passport and go see some things too. I have mine. I just have to be respectful of the responsibilities I have and the fact that I cannot give COVID to 600 senior citizens. But someday, I may decide one good December to go where winter does not exist. It's not that far. Cuernavaca is not that much further than, let's say, going to Atlanta at this time of year. Baja is not that much further than San Diego. Ensenada, for example, is as close as Texas. So, hey, it's possible. Winter is not here to scare you. Winter has a task it is assigned to do, and that has nothing to do with your life and your future. Do not listen to silly people who do this, because remember, the person who said it the most was not prepared for the spring. Winter came for him permanently, unless, of course, we account for, well, weeping and gnashing of teeth, fire and brimstone. Doesn't sound very wintry. But however you want to account for that, whatever he didn't prepare for is now part of his future. It doesn't have to be part of yours. Y'all know a story of Christmas. It's a shameless plug for Jesus Christ. Y'all know what that was about. Y'all have heard that. That God knew that all have sinned and come short of the glory of God. And that he did not want man to be lost in sin. And so sent his son, the Lord Jesus Christ, to die on the cross for man's sins. And anyone who believes on him, believes that he died for their sins, was resurrected on the third day, can have everlasting life and go where winter is no more forever. Unfortunately, the summer fires and all that other stuff I was telling you about, don't mess around, end up in hell. That's your choices. Shameless plug for Jesus Christ. All this suffering that we have to deal with here is not necessary in the hereafter, multiplied by 1,000. Instead, the good can be multiplied by 1,000 hereafter. But again, it's about choices. It's about choices. It's up to you, just like experiencing winter. Winter is here again. Y'all look around at this beautiful winter day. I love it. Birds were out there singing, trying to get their mates this morning, trying to catch their winter mates here. And I know that the temperatures are not that mild everywhere. But don't be scared. Do what you need to do. Focus on the essentials. Winter is here and spring is coming. All right. Y'all have a good day now. I'm going to go ahead and finish my walk and enjoy this beautiful day of the winter solstice. Bye, y'all. Thank you for listening.